Thank you for staying with us. Welcome to the News Belt on the AM show. Now we start with something on the economic plane. And former President John Dramani Mahama says the clergy and civil society organizations should be partly blamed for the country's economic woes. He's blaming these groups for failing to criticize government for its profligate spending of loans contracted. Speaking at the Tichiman Timber Market as part of his two-day tour of the Bono East region, Mr. Mahama said the NDC was prepared to turn around the fortunes of the country. Nanaya Ojima is on the tour and came through with this report.
According to the former president, loans contracted by the NPP government, which he pegs at $3 billion annually, were not invested in productive ventures. He says the watchdog roles of various actors were left to the NDC alone.
Empenyinfo omomudi yekan asafo penyi imamfo ne adeade wo se omokan nokre ekire omohwe oman no so.
The clergy, civil society, and others in authority reneged on their watchdog role. From 2018, all vigilant people noticed the economy continued to dip. The economic crisis was imminent. Only the NDC told the president that his brother, who serves as finance minister, has refused to use the $3 billion loans contracted every year judiciously.
Now, Obianka said, "Men Bobosia, but Bobosia, what is the canaba? Far ye addicted to Japadia, a besombo ama or mino."
To the NDC, the ruling government has admitted its inability to put the country on the right track.
Now, President Ankasa Ibusano say, Jessica Samson, I say, Esiafano, obey Hunday.
The president himself, in response to questions on the economy, admitted it would take the next president to fix the country. He has lost hope himself. We know that the John Mahama administration is the government to fix the challenge.
And President John Dramani Mahama.
The Building Ghana tour made a stop at Techiman magazine, where a town hall meeting was organized to seek the concerns of the public for the NDC manifesto for 2024. A national apprenticeship program campaign policy was preferred as a solution to challenges of apprenticeship raised in the meeting. Skills training is one of the means of reviving the economy. Even graduates will have to learn a skill. Even if you want to travel abroad, it is easier to get a job as a skilled person. No matter your qualification, you should learn a skill.
Then we have a national apprenticeship program. Now we are Ghana.
At Benkrom in the Kintampo North constituency, a donation was made to victims of the recent floods in the area. The former president called on government to resource the National Disaster Management Organization for such purpose.
Abraye wabaimu afibia yetisika esiho edema aban ejuma ye friend nadmo enti atorenchem bia sia omutimiba ebeboa omo a sa atorenchem no aka omo.
When we were in government, we released funds for the NADMO promptly for disaster management. But this time when the floods happened, NADMO told us they haven't received funding for the last 2 years. I will plead with government to fund NADMO to support disaster victims.
Sika yete ho ye twagu ho say ye mfama NADMO Mr. Finance Minister omba omosaka say ne be ya san nyoma isia omoso mbetimi aso ano.
Similar town hall meetings were held at Kintampo South and in Kwanzaa North.
The Bruno East edition of the Building Ghana Tour have been brought to an end. Opinions and challenges of various groupings invited to the town hall meetings will be packaged into a manifesto. It will be replicated in other parts of the country. For JoyNews, Nanaya Ojima reporting.
Now, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has criticized former President John Dramani Mahama for what he sees as empty promises to Ghanaians in the former president's quest to return to power. Dr. Bawumia contends that Mr. Mahama lacks a thorough understanding of his own policies, particularly the 24-hour economy initiative. Now, he wants Ghanaians not to take Mahama's promises seriously and rather support him to bring in new policies for the transformation of the country. Samuel Mbura reports from the Vice President's homecoming tour in the northern regions.
2024 is a time for His Excellency Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia. And in fact, the issue is that Mahama has already done something to this country. And in fact, they are epistemic. So we don't want him to come and then do spiritual harm to what? This country.
The Vice President was warmly welcomed by enthusiastic party supporters during his homecoming tour in his native region, Northeast. His visit included a courtesy call on the overlord of the Mamprogo Kingdom in Nalerigo, followed by a grand rally in Tamale, the northern regional capital. Notable party figures including the MPP National Chairman, Majority Leader, and the entire Northern MPP MPs caucus joined him. Dr. Bawumia addressed the supporters expressed surprise at the campaign messages of NDC flag John Mahama.
He's going around the whole country and promising everything to everybody. It is as if he has never been president in this country before. It is as if he has never been president. It is as if he has just landed from Mars.
He particularly criticized his understanding of the 24-hour economy policy.
Today, because of digitalization, the banks, you can transfer money 24 hours. You can receive money 24 hours. Isn't it? So he doesn't understand his own policy. It does not make sense. And I want you to vote in 2024 for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. I will bring a new vision. I will bring new policies. And we will transform this country. John Mahama is the past.
While highlighting his own achievements as Vice President, Dr. Bawumia challenged Mahama to present a single idea from his tenure as Vice President.
What idea did he bring as Vice President? He did not bring even one idea to the table. And I challenge anybody to tell us one idea that Dr. Mahama brought. Dr. Bawumia has brought idea after idea after idea after idea.
Majority Leader Oseche Mensah-Bonsu asserted that Dr. Bawumia is pivotal to reshaping the economy, a reason all of them are supporting him.
Bawumia, we have tremendous belief that with him, this country will experience a turnaround. He is the one with the key. He is the one with the key to reposition this country. That is why all of us are following him.
Minister for Lands and Natural Resources and MP for Damango, Samuel Abu-Janapo also emphasized that Dr. Bawumia's selection to lead the MPP is based on his integrity, not because he is a Northerner.
And we present him not because he's a Northerner, not because he's a Mamprogo, not because he's the great son of Nagbewa, not because of that, not just because of that, but because he has shown that he's a competent Northerner, he's a hard-working Northerner, and he has a vision to transform this country.
The Vice President's homecoming tour will extend to Yendi, Bimbila, and Damango in the Savannah region later in the day. Samuel Mbura, Joy News, Tamale.
Let's talk health now. 40% of children living with HIV and AIDS are unaware of their status in West and Central Africa, while mother-to-child transmission remains high, reaching 64% in these two regions. This revelation came to light at the opening of a 3-day regional HIV and AIDS summit in Accra by the executive director of the Civil Society Institute for Health in West and Central Africa, Ngwisali Turpin. Now, the primary objective of this conference is to devise effective strategies to significantly reduce these figures, aligning with the 2030 UN HIV goals. Carlos Caloni has the rest of the story.
Representatives from government and civil society organizations across 20 African countries, along with donor organizations such as World Health Organization and the USAID, have convened at the 3-day regional summit addressing the end of AIDS in children in West and Central Africa. Speaking to Joy News on the sidelines, the director of the Civil Society Institute for Health in West and Central Africa, Ngwisali Turpin, emphasized the summit's crucial role in crafting viable solutions to empower CSOs in the sector.
Unfortunately, we only have 60% of children living with HIV that actually know their status. We also see that, unfortunately, we have a rate of around 65% new HIV infections that were acquired that were transmitted to children because their mothers did not receive the adequate ARV treatment that is in existence. So what we are really trying to put the focus on is that community organizations, civil society organizations need to be empowered. They need to be given the means to do testing, to do outreach, and also to contribute in terms of care and support.
Underlining the necessity for stronger collaboration between state and non-state actors, Program Manager for the National AIDS Control Program, Dr. Stephen A.C. Addo, highlighted key interventions by the Ghana Health Service in combating HIV in Ghana.
Based on all the analysis, we've realized that if we have to end the epidemic, the public sector alone, the private sector alone cannot. We need to work closely with the civil society organizations. And already we have started that discussion. Next year, the Global Fund to Fight AIDS, TB, and Malaria has provided resources to strengthen further this partnership and collaboration with non-state actors. The Ghana Health Service is going to work very closely with civil society organizations to implement community initiatives in the cascade of care from testing, treatment, retention, and viral suppression.
On his part, President of the Ghana HIV/AIDS Network, Ernest Otsen, underscored that funding remains a significant challenge for CSOs in Ghana. He stressed the importance of allocating resources to combat the disease, considering the country's high HIV prevalence.
If you look at our statistics, we have about 354,000 persons living with HIV in this country. About 80% of them are children. So that's quite high a number. And that is why we need the support of government in addressing pediatric HIV. This is something that we can achieve. So all we need is for government to provide domestic resources to address this issue of pediatric HIV.
Otsen also expressed commitment of CSOs in Ghana to work towards making Ghana the first country in the region to achieve the 2030 goals on the disease.
What we are committed to doing as a civil society group working with the government is to make sure that Ghana will become the first country south of the Sahara to eliminate mother-to-child transmission of HIV and AIDS. We also want to be the first country to, by 2030, eliminate HIV and AIDS as a public health concern.
The Member of Parliament for Dafiama Bisi Isa constituency and member of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Health, Sebastian Sandari, emphasized the legislature's role in ensuring that allocated resources for the fight are effectively utilized.
What we can do as legislature, as members of parliament, is
is to ensure that, one, there are enough budgetary allocations for HIV care, is to ensure that we play our oversight role, to ensure that whatever funds that are dedicated for HIV care are well utilized.
At the end of the 3-day summit, an actionable solution is anticipated to be unveiled, further strengthening collaboration between government and CSOs to achieve the 2030 goals. Carlos Galoni, JoyNews.
In our next story, advocates for neonatal care are asking government to include their health care in the National Health Insurance Scheme. According to the advocates, a child's first benefit from the state is the ability to live when born before the 40-week gestational period, an assistance which, when denied, could lead to death. Currently documented as one of the leading causes of death among newborns, the advocates want government to increase funding for neonatal care as a means of ending preventable deaths of newborns and children under 5 years in its quest to achieve the SDG target 3.2 by 2023. Hannah Odami has more in this report.
Mothers of preterm babies often have to stay in hospitals for as long as their babies receive care. This affects their finances and general well-being. Some are thrown into a state of despair, confusion, and guilt. Olivia Sakwa has been at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital for the past 3 weeks, waiting for her third child, born at 32 weeks, to be discharged. The financial burden, she says, is draining, reason why governmental support is needed.
If you, the mother, you've been discharged, it means you have no bed to sleep on, so you have to sit till daybreak so you can take care of your baby as well. And aside that, buying drugs, going for labs, it also stresses us. So actually, if the government can provide beds for mothers being taken care of premature babies.
Aside that, some mothers continue to live in denial about the situation of their babies. But Gloria Abaka, who delivered at 33 weeks, encourages her fellow mothers to give their best love to the children during these moments, as that aids the growth of their babies.
I realize that when we love our children when they are in this situation, they come out faster than we thought.
An NGO, African Foundation for Premature Babies and Neonatal Care, occasionally support these mothers through diverse means to alleviate their plight. Selina Bintum has been leading this cause.
The cost of care in the NICU is expensive. The NHIS covers very little portion, probably less than 10%, and for the amount that it covers, it does not extend to essential part of care like medication that is expensive that the baby needs to survive. And so it is not an excuse for a Ghanaian, a baby who is born Ghanaian at that age to die. Even if it's just one baby dying every year because of this, it is still not fair, and we can do more.
Stanbic Investment Management Services, which assured of continuous support for the mothers, also promised to be a voice so government can respond urgently by increasing investment in neonatal care. Desmond Bredu is head of client coverage.
For us, we believe in sustainability, so we are not just looking at just a one-time thing, but how can we partner other institutions, how can we echo the message, because that's where we can get to have more people come on board.
From the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, I am Hannah Odami for JoyNews.
Now, some concerned residents in Hopedo, a suburb of Ho, are worried about the construction of a liquefied petroleum gas station in a residential area. They argue that siting the station very close to an electricity transformer increases the risk factor of a disaster in the enclave since it harbors several homes. They are asking relevant authorities to step in and prevent the developer from going ahead to construct the LPG station in their vicinity.
Hufedu lies in the northeastern side of the Volta regional capital. The suburb serves as home to hundreds of residents and harbors some businesses, educational institutions and churches. However, there is a new development in the area that has injected fear into the residents.
Block me happen mo kata be over filling station do pe kemi nyanya ke chonti mi gborola do ko vale mi ajule fia mi gboro se are ewu mi do ko mi va call you there cancel gas filling station do mo le gba mi bia wo mo nyanya ke cho amobe mo nyanya ke chonti because no one we are fia school pele no le fia church o le fia fi ke mi apo ho tere unti mi tell an do han exactly zala over the door le fia.
JoyNews investigations revealed that the investor was given a permit to construct a liquid petroleum gas station in the residential area in 2018. A move to undertake construction works in the past was heavily objected by the residents.
About 5 or 6 years ago, some men came that they had wanted, even they were saying filling station. They want to make filling station here, so that some of us will be collecting petrol free for 1 year or at least 6 months. Even the whole area, nobody agreed to that suggestion.
It is, however, surprising that the developer has decided to go ahead with the project after 5 years. The residents are alarmed because the station is in close proximity to homes, while an electricity transformer is situated at the entrance of the site. They fear the least form of disaster may ravage their homes and businesses and destroy their lifetime properties.
By mistake, overdo gas filling station and jola e kanche maybe amofe vuwa fiare akonam ata mi le kuku de ne jukobe nki wa de fiolela me demi ajiota
kwa mota ku baba ko kaka manyare amegbeto we yewa ya beyo mawuyo ape gas ke be atuvo konam de me te kuku ne ejiruru Yirekaya nakpalamuye. Yirekaya nakpalamuye gasi kabanyama. Nama yashibole maku. Mela kuku bache. Enoche na. Chipale. Jinyama fo. Na komachia.
Ta mi le kuku gande. Fike permite chola no stopping ko be awana ta wan bubu ata to ko bubu fanga ke gas e yala ni me dasi regio. Ata wan bubu le tepa mili apo va etan tu khobubu kake gas ya meli o ko ayamole akpuno mi den kaka trafaga barasike agblen life we.
The residents are hoping the authorities will hear their plea to prohibit the developer from going ahead with the project to ensure the safety of their lives and properties. Fred Kwame Asari, JoyNews. Oh.
It's a wrap for the news. Thank you for staying, but stay even longer because right after this, we serve you the news review with Dr. Christopher Ampedu-Huzi, a political analyst with the Pentecost University. Here's our guest. Do stay.